Welcome back to my channel, and it's JABOLKO Trade again, and I'm glad to have you here. Today I'll be sharing with you what I just saw from a fellow YouTuber, Taiwo Odumosu, who was talking about jobless in Canada. And I know a lot of you are thinking of leaving the country, Nigeria, or Jakba as the case may be. For most of us who know that particular word, Jakba, we all want to leave the country. We all want to leave the country because of the tough times we find ourselves. And many of us are blaming President Tinubu for it. And funny enough, today I heard of a pastor who was prophetically speaking on TikTok and saying that it's not President Tinubu that is the problem. That even if you had put in the best in that office and he is surrounded by most who are not the best or most who are still corrupt in their mind, the country will still be the same. I mean, if I must share my own thought, I will ask a question. Where are the refineries in the country apart from that of Dangote? Was it President Tinubu that caused it? Let me go back to the subject at hand. For me, it's joblessness in Canada, and a lot of you are thinking of going there. Many nurses, many doctors are going or thinking of going there. In fact, we almost had protests from nurses because of the new criteria they've been given, and it's not all going well for them, and they want to move. From the short video you are seeing, you would see that a job was
This
posted on
says
LinkedIn,
the city of
and you could see the number of people who
Calgary,
are filing the
where
streets
there was a
searching for
sporting
these jobs.
situation
And as you could
going
see
on.
there, they are mostly the citizens of
And
that
there is a
country,
job
not
available,
even
and
blacks.
this is a job fair.
So if at most
They
10 or
will
15 are
invite
given
people
that
around
job,
2 o'clock,
what will happen to the
and
remaining number of persons you're
3
seeing
o'clock,
lining up the streets? That is almost typical of something you find in Africa, in Nigeria, when a job will be posted on a site. Are you still considering moving to another country? There are a lot of factors you need to think about. Number one is accommodation. Obviously, from that lineup, you can see, you will know that you may not easily get a job. So, where are you going to stay? Because people hardly help people over there. I know of a friend, I wouldn't really call the person a friend, who left for abroad, but he had to be renting rooms and paying A and B from time to time just in search of a job. So, the advice I got, and even from this, my fellow YouTuber, is prepare for more than 6 months or close to 6 months, more than 3 months, he said, which means you have to carry enough money to pay your rent in terms of hotel bills where you're going to lodge and put a roof over your head. If you're going to use Airbnb, that is how it's going to be. Otherwise, you would be homeless in Canada. He also went ahead to talk about drugs. That when you come in here, life is not just the way it is in your home country, where you could walk into a pharmacy and then you ask for a prescription and they will prescribe it for you. And then, especially when you don't have a job, when you get to that pharmacy, they will tell you to go and get doctor's prescription. And of course, like he said in his analysis, doctors are not enough in Canada. Nurses are not enough. And you can't get over the counter drugs until you have a prescription. So, what will you do? If you know you have an ailment, get your drugs, loads of them, and carry it along with you as you're traveling. Otherwise, life could tire you. Life could tire you for Obodo Igbo. Can you just imagine it? Have you thought of inflation in all these foreign lands just because of this war in Ukraine and Russia, and how it's affecting them because goods and services are not the supply channels, most of them are being blocked. Most of them, because of one policy or the other, things are not flowing the way they ought to be. Think about it. I'm not against you going there. Never would I be. He even went ahead to say, even when you are skilled, you have a skilled job, it will take you so long to still get that skilled job. But at least the loophole he mentioned was that at least do your best once you come in to get a driver's license so that anything your hands could find to do, you could quickly do it, even if it means you driving a taxi just to have a quick job. Because with your driver's license, they will know you're legit. A quick job could be offered to you. You could do an Uber job, you could get into anything. Some companies would be able to lease you their car for you to start doing something. There's nowhere that is perfect. All these places have their own pros and cons. But I always tell people before you go into any land, please spend time on the net, surfing the net and looking for the pros and cons and prepare yourself. Taiwo went ahead to mention that you must have plan A, plan B, plan C, or even plan D. Because, I mean, it's case by case. You don't know how your own case may end up being. So you have to have your plan A, your plan B, your plan C. What really are you going to do in Canada? Have you put your act together? Because once you land in that land, things may not go well for you. It may not. It favors some people. First of all, you have to seek the face of God to know if that's where God wants you to be. Because if you're not in the right place at the right time, whatever goes on in that land won't favor you. No wonder plenty marriages scatter when they go abroad. I hear of so many cases. Frustrations. So if your marriage is not thick, it will be tested. It will be tested. How about if you go with your children and they see things that they shouldn't see? For example, if you've ever heard of the Naked Festival in Japan, and maybe they are there looking at these people walking naked and doing all sorts of things. Or is it the Penis Festival, for example? That's a culture shock that your children would see with their naked eyes. Welcome to a foreign land. This is all I have to say to you. I'm sharing life issues as they come, and God is giving me the grace to tell you this. What if you are above 40 and you're still thinking of traveling outside the country in search of greener pastures? Have you taken out time to think about this? What is their retirement age? If their retirement age is 60, it means you just got about 20 years. And what if in the first 3 to 4 years you've not really gotten something good to do? Because certainly they would seek for certifications. You have to acclimatize yourself into the environment, into that land. So you may start from menial jobs, which may not help you get something reasonable, talk less of pensionable jobs. It's the world we need live in. I'm just sharing live issues. Think about these things before you think of selling that your home, selling that your land, just to think of leaving the country called Nigeria. For those of you who may watch Mayor very much, you will know that he encourages you to grow in Africa. He travels around the world. You see him in Kenya, you see him in Rwanda, and you see him with people who are growing multi-million-dollar businesses in Africa. Some are even planting and they're making good fortunes. So there's a lot that can happen here in Africa because it's still very much uncultivated. Shine your eyes and look for opportunities. They always abound, and God will give you the grace. This is sharing live issues, and I thought to use my 10 cents over here and just say a word or two to you for that person who is thinking of traveling and not yet fully decided. Look before you leap. Have a nice day.